we're going to be reacting to some videos that are riddles, and it's going to be so amazing and awesome. I hope y'all guys watch to the end and enjoy it. Please like and subscribe. Let's get into the...
Tommy was exploring old caves outside the city when he got trapped in a mysterious dungeon. There were 3 ways out, but only one of them was safe. Behind the first door, a fire was raging. Behind the second door, there was acid rain, which could melt any substance within seconds. Behind the third door, there was a huge brown bear that hadn't eaten for 2 years. Which way should Tommy choose?
I'm going through the fire. I'm running, because if you run fast enough, it won't burn you.
Tommy should choose the third way. No animal can go for 2 years without food and survive. Barely. It was a stormy day, and it had been raining for several hours straight. A car accident happened in a tunnel. The yellow car crashed into the red one. The driver of the yellow car said it had been raining so heavily he hadn't seen anything.
In a tunnel?
The accident wasn't totally his fault.
It was his fault.
But the police asked the man to stop lying and claimed it was all his fault. It was. Why?
Because they were in the tunnel. This is simple. We already knew this. That me and my friend Nate, he was in a past video. I'll put it right here, the thumbnail. We played basketball. We're going to be writing a song and publishing it soon. So I'm sorry for cutting this video off, but we kind of know we kind of know that it was his fault. Yeah, let's go.
The accident happened.
Yeah, we already knew this.
It couldn't be raining there. Mrs. McAdams, who was having a day off with her friends, came back home in the middle of the day to change her clothes. There, she found out that her daughter, Eveline, who she'd grounded, wasn't at home. Mrs. McAdams got angry and texted Eveline, asking where she was. Eveline texted her back, saying she was at school. The girl even attached a picture of the classroom. Mrs. McAdams didn't believe her daughter and told her to come home immediately. How did she understand Eveline wasn't at school?
Because it's nighttime. Oh, it's Sunday. It says right there it's Sunday.
Look closely at your cell phone. It's Sunday. There's no school on Sundays.
Big brain.
He works in a club. His job is to check people's ID cards and to not let suspicious people or people younger than 21 years old get inside. Okay. Take a look at these 3 ID cards and figure out who shouldn't enter the club.
2000. Oh, it's him.
The first person is already 21, and nothing else looks suspicious in his ID. The second girl seems all right, too. It's written that Brielle was born on September 31st. Ah, but such date doesn't exist. Her ID must be fake. Mrs. Cabell is the owner of a small company producing expensive designer cups. On Friday, when the working week was finally over, she got a call from her bank. The woman found out that someone had stolen all the money she had saved. Mrs. Cabell realized it must have been one of her workers, so she asked each of them what they had been doing that day. Sloan, a sales manager, said she had been talking to their clients and looking for new ones. Atticus, a potter, said he always made 1 cup a day, and he showed all the cups he had done that week. Sierra, a designer, said she had been working, but she also admitted she hadn't been really productive that day because of some family issues. Who lied? I
don't know. I think it was, not the potter, but the first girl. I think it was her.
Atticus. There are 5 working days in a regular week. The man said he made 1 mug a day.
I was kind of suspicious of that, but I don't get it.
It means he missed 1 day of work. Lennox and Finn were friends living in the same college.
Why's he got an eye patch?
One day, Lennox reported that something had happened to his friend. He said Finn hadn't left his room all day. He also never responded to any of Lennox's texts. In the evening, Lennox started to worry and knocked on Finn's door, but the guy didn't answer. Lennox peeked through the keyhole and saw that his friend was lying on the floor, so he called the police. After that, Lennox got arrested. Why?
Because they were dorm mates? I don't know.
Lennox has a bandage on his right eye, but the keyhole is located in such a way that it's only possible to look inside with the right eye. It means the guy couldn't do it. He simply knew what had happened. Esme was having a walk in the forest and got lost for about the 20th time. Hey, don't ask. Anyway, she found the witch's house, walked in, said hi, petted the cat, and asked the witch to show her the way home. But the witch had a problem. She was learning a new spell and accidentally did something strange to her chairs. On the bright side, she now had a riddle for Esme to solve. The witch had 20 chairs. Now, some of the chairs only had 2 legs, and half of the rest had no legs at all. How many legs did all these 20 chairs have in total?
20 divided by 2. 10. 10 legs. But 2's 20.
You know
40.
that some of the chairs have, on average,
10.
2 legs per
10
chair.
times 2.
The rest of them
20.
have either 4 legs or no legs at all.
That's 20.
And since half of the rest have no legs and the other half have 4, together they have 2 legs per chair. So there are exactly 40 legs. Mr. Tucker was a businessman. He wanted to find an interesting hobby to impress people. He chose art, even though he knew nothing about it. Still, he kept buying paintings and even owned a couple of famous masterpieces. He liked to invite his potential business partners over to show off his collection. One day, his guest was Miss Geneva Darby, a young lady who owned a jewelry business. As always, Mr. Tucker boasted about his collection, but Miss Darby wasn't impressed. Why?
Hey, Geneva.
Look closer at this supposedly 16th century painting. There are a couple of cars on the road, but there were no cars at that time, so the painting must be fake. Evie and Kai were planning to go on a bike tour with their friends. Unfortunately, Evie didn't feel well, so she canceled on her friends and asked Kai to stay with her.
Yeah.
Kai was disappointed, but agreed. Evie fell asleep. When she woke up, she already felt better. She offered Kai to ride their bikes a bit, just the 2 of them. But when they went outside, Evie realized that while she had been sleeping, Kai had been out with the friends without her. How did she understand it? Look, Evie's bike is all wet. It must have been raining while she was asleep. But Kai's bike is dry. It means that he used it and then wiped it off.
Bike
or maybe he wasn't even in the area when it was raining.
His doesn't.
2 weeks ago, a bank was robbed, but the robber hadn't been found yet. A phone call woke Detective Callum up in the middle of the night. His colleague reported that a farmer had found the money. When the detective arrived, he questioned the farmer. The man said, "I argued with my wife and went outside. That's when I found a bag with money in a cornfield." Detective Callum asked if the farmer had noticed anything suspicious before. The farmer replied, "About 2 weeks ago, before going to bed, I looked out of the window. I saw a man walking through the field. It was a full moon and I could clearly see his silhouette. But there wasn't enough light to notice more details about it." The farmer was arrested. Why? The farmer said it had been a full moon 2 weeks before, but it's impossible. As you see, it's a full moon now.
I don't see any.
The farmer is lying, but why? Ashley was hurrying to an unplanned business meeting.
Maybe
she asked her boyfriend
either.
Dean to walk the dog. Dean agreed, but then his friend called and invited him to play a new video game. So the guy decided to skip walking the dog that day and joined his friends. He and Ashley met right outside the house when they both were going back home. Ashley asked what Dean had been doing. The guy said, "I walked the dog and then went to play video games with my friends." Ashley immediately understood he was lying. How did she figure it out? It's winter. Look at the footprints in the snow. There are Ashley's footprints going both ways and Dean's footprints going both ways too.
Because there's no footprints in the yard, no dog prints.
Mrs. Rivers reported that someone had broken into her house. They stole all the money and jewelry she kept in her living room. Detective Callum arrived to investigate the crime. The room was a mess. It was obvious that someone had been looking for something there. But in the end, the detective concluded that there was no robbery. Mrs. Rivers made the whole thing up. Why did he decide so? Look at this very expensive and fragile tea set lying on the floor. If a criminal had really been there, he wouldn't have cared about the set. It would be smashed after falling down. It seems that when Mrs. Rivers was staging a robbery, she didn't feel like breaking her expensive tea set.
Yeah.
Viviana and Malcolm were working outside. Malcolm was repairing the roof, and Viviana was working in the garden.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a hammer fell from the roof and hit Viviana on the head. She was taken to a hospital, and the police came to figure out what had happened. When Malcolm told them everything, the police arrested him for staging an accident.
Okay.
Why didn't they believe the guy? Viviana was working right next to the house. She was sitting under the roof. If the hammer had fallen accidentally, it would have slid down the roof.
Because if he was over here, why would and she was over there, why would the hammer fall there?
If someone threw it at her on purpose.
I don't get it.
Well, that's not nice.
If you did enjoy this video, please go and subscribe and leave a like. School's starting back, so I might not be able to make as many videos as I have this summer. I think I only have a few videos out, but I have a bunch of shorts, and I might even be making some at school. Maybe some football shorts, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and I'll see y'all next video. Bye.